Why don't we ask Adam Schefter? Joined, thanks to our friends at Death Wish Coffee, by Adam Schefter. Schefty, we're having a debate. I think it's kind of ironic that they missed an extra point early for the Patriots, and Belichick was one of the guys who wanted that extra point to be more difficult.
You know, that you can look at it that way. I mean, I got no problem with that if that's that's the way that you want to view it. Certainly, it's interesting, but you know, he said himself today, you go by the rules, you have to make the kick. The fact of the matter is, if you go to the 2-point conversion at the end of the game to tie it, Rob Gronkowski's running 3 in the back of the end zone, and they decided not to throw the football. Tom Brady, I think it was the pass rush that was on him all day, was locked in on Julian Edelman and really didn't want to go away from that. And so because of that, it was a case where essentially it cost them, and they got burnt by that. But in this particular case, that extra point change, to me, made the game a lot more interesting, a lot more compelling, a lot less predictable this year over the course of the season. I don't think there's anybody that thought it was a bad thing that they changed the extra point. It introduced an element of drama to an already dramatic game, and it adversely impacted the Patriots yesterday. It's the way it goes.
I agree 100%. It's just, we're home for New York Jets, so I got to poke at the Pats whenever I can, Shefty.
Yeah, that's understandable. I got it. That's fine.
As you watch that game, Peyton Manning, is this a situation where with an extra week's rest we can expect more Peyton-like escapades than what we were expecting with kind of a wobbly football?
Well, I think that you're going to hear an awful lot about Peyton Manning for the next 2 weeks. This is going to be the Peyton Manning Super Bowl, much like it became the Ray Lewis Super Bowl, much like it became the Jerome Bettis or Michael Strahan Super Bowl, when a guy is looking at the distinct prospect of playing his last NFL game on the biggest stage in what happens to be Super Bowl 50. You're going to hear an awful lot of conversation about that guy. There's no two ways around it.
Schefty, what's the injury status for Panthers players Thomas Davis and Jared Allen?
Thomas Davis underwent surgery today, and the way I understand it, you can go play with your arm in a cast, taped up, wrapped up, however they want to do it. This is a guy that's bounced back from 3 ACL injuries at various points. You'd have to figure that at least this guy would be in a situation where he's going to go out there and try to play. That's the prevailing thinking, that's what this guy's going to wind up doing, is going out there and trying to make this happen and play with the injury the way it is. We'll find out over the course of the 2 weeks if he can make it happen. This is a guy, again, tore his ACL 3 times. I would not bet against this guy. This guy is very tough, very resilient. He makes things happen, and we'll see how that works out.
And Jared Allen, he'll play, right?
Jared Allen, I think, is expected to play. They believe he'll be back. They felt like he could have played yesterday, and with 2 weeks, again, depending on what happens in practice, yes, I think they believe they'll see him.
Shefty, when you look at Cam Newton, Mike and Mike this morning, they're reading letters that, people are against this guy because he throws flags and whatever. Is this going to be his coming out party? Is this the time that we all look at him and go, he's an absolute superstar in this league?
Well, I don't know what's taking people so long to get to that point anyway. I mean, he's going to win the MVP of the league this year. He was the best player in the league all year. And the night before the Super Bowl at the NFL Honors Ceremony, he will be the MVP. So if people just realize that, then they're a little late to the party that this guy's been taking his game to another level. He was always very good, and I think anybody who watched him at Auburn win a national championship there knew how good he was. But he's gotten progressively better, and I think from the time that Carolina gave him this new contract in the spring, in the summer, it elevated his game. He's reached a certain kind of maturity level. He has a ton of fun when he's out there. I just think he's become a dynamic player out there, somebody that they really like and trust and believe in. And I think so far when you look at it, this guy's been a real difference maker.
Shefty, do you remember any quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl that pits two different personalities, two different styles of play than Cam Newton versus Peyton Manning?
Listen, this is one where they are very different. We've seen, I'd have to go back and look, veteran quarterbacks go up against young quarterbacks. Look, last year, Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. It's not altogether different, right? Brady and Manning have been the icons of the game. We've got these younger, more athletic quarterbacks. Russell Wilson fits into that category. So to me, it's a very similar situation here with the way that works out.
When you look at Peyton Manning, and as you said, it's going to be 2 weeks of dissecting Peyton Manning. I've heard multiple reports each way. Is this it for him, or do you think he might actually play one more year?
Well, nobody knows for sure. My guess is this is it. He certainly sounded like he was saying goodbye to Denver's fans at the end of yesterday's game, thanking them for 4 great years. He's 39 years old. He's played a long time. I think everybody who watched him could recognize his body was starting to give out on him. Still loves the game. Has played the game at such a high level for so long. It's hard to imagine he's going to continue doing that. But again, he'll sit down with his family at the end of the year. He'll make a decision. He'll do what he decides is best for him. And we'll see how that works out.
Adam Schefter, brought to us by Death Wish Coffee. Shefty, what's the latest going on with the Los Angeles franchises?
Right now, the Rams and Chargers are in discussions to see if they can form a partnership out in L.A. And I think if they can do that, I think that'll get done in the next few weeks here. The Chargers and Rams joining forces, sharing that stadium that's being built in the Inglewood area in Los Angeles right now. You'd have 2 teams in L.A., but what the interesting part about that is, had somebody tell me over the weekend, very reliable source tell me that if that happens and the Chargers and Rams can work out a partnership, that all of a sudden the Raiders would be a candidate to move to San Diego, and that could happen as soon as the 2017 or 2018 season. And I know it sounds strange saying the Oakland or the San Diego Raiders, but we may be looking straight at that prospect here for the 2017 or 2018 seasons.
Is it that bad between the Raiders and Oakland? Like it just won't work out? They're going to go somewhere else?
No, I wouldn't say that, but again, we got a lot of dynamics. It's a game of musical chairs going on right now. There are certain cities that want football teams. There aren't enough teams for cities. There are teams that are offering certain incentives, trying to make things happen, and you see how it all works out.
Shefty, we asked you if Peyton Manning was going to come back next year. I have to know for my Seahawks, is Marshawn Lynch really leaning towards retirement?
That's what it sounds like. Listen, I think there are a lot of people who think of retirement at the end of a season. And once they step away from the game and get a little bit of time to recharge the battery, I think they change their thinking sometimes. And it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case here, if they take some time away and decide to do that. But again, I think it's better to ask that question a few weeks after the season rather than right after the season. But right now, the Seahawks think there's a real chance that Marshawn Lynch will retire, yes.
Adam Schefter, brought to us by Death Wish Coffee right here on 104.5 The Team. Shefty, do you watch the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I like to watch the play. You know what I like to watch about the Pro Bowl? I like to watch all the scenery and see the suns and the beach and the ocean when you're sitting here in freezing conditions with all the snow all around you and you wish that you could be where they are.
Now, see, I always loved the skills challenges, but I don't feel like they do them anymore. Am I just missing? I loved the bench press and the accuracy and all that stuff. Like, that was my fun part of it.
They don't do that anymore. That would be kind of cool if they did do that. It doesn't happen like that for whatever reason. And so it's a case where, I don't know. Again, I just think you tune in because it's the kind of thing you do on Sunday. You're used to watching football. It's the only football on, so you watch it at that point for that reason.
Shefty, we appreciate your time every Monday. Thanks to Death Wish Coffee, and go enjoy that Pro Bowl in the warm weather through the television.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Monday from the Bay Area. Well, we won't be in the Bay Area just yet, but I'll talk to you about being in the Bay Area, I guess.
You got it, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Shefty. Adam Schefter will be there, but I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, we'll be there. Don't want to make him jealous.
Is he gone? He's gone, right? Okay, yeah. Like, I don't want to. Yeah,
we'll be with that next weather.
Shefty will be calling us and be like, "Hey, how is it there in Albany?" You tell us, buddy. We don't know. We're on the beach. Adam Schefter. Yeah. So Lynch, I got to be honest with you. What I'm hearing, he might go to Oakland.
He loves
Oakland.
That would not shock me. He's Oakland until he dies,
yep.
And he's going to be a cap hit for the Seahawks if he's there. That wouldn't shock me. You know what? I'd be okay with that. He'd be in the AFC. He wouldn't be in a position to really beat the Seahawks. He'd be playing in his hometown. He has the personality of the silver and black. I could get on board with that.
Yeah, well, I guess I could figure it out as a fan. 104.5 The Team. Of course, Shefty brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee is right here from the local area, and you got it right behind your screen. There you go. Right here, and I love it. It's my favorite coffee. Every time I try something else, it just kind of falls short for me. I like to have that the caffeine and the typical dark roast, because like when they make them darker, it actually roasts a lot of the caffeine out. And the roasters at Death Wish have come up with this blend that's dark, full flavored, and has a high level of caffeine. So go to deathwishcoffee.com, and hey, you can still type in ESPN as your discount. You can save 10% on that. So right there, Death Wish Coffee. Dude, I love it. Like, I ran out the other day in the office, so I got my order in over on the website. I'm good to go.
I'm going to have to use that code because I've never actually had a full cup of coffee.
You've never had a cup of coffee?
Nope.
What? Really? What
Really?
are you, 12?
Really, caffeine. I have like a caffeine tolerance. It does not do anything. But I wouldn't know because of coffee. But like I could have 4 sodas and fall asleep just fine.
You couldn't do that with Death Wish.
I believe it now. I've never tried it. I never had a full cup of coffee.
Guys, call Kane over at Death Wish and tell him that Brady thinks he can drink a couple cups of Death Wish and just go to sleep. Yeah, we'll take care of that for you real quick. Challenge accepted, I'm sure.